Okay, Greg Pickle, another quiet Tuesday afternoon in
Until that tractor comes back anyway.
In State College. James Franklin's news conference just wrapped up. So did Micah Parsons' news conference. He's an entertaining dude,
Yeah.
man. He's
Yes,
a lot of fun. Just to get serious for a second, obviously I think a lot of Penn State fans are aware that somebody from the western part of the state sent a letter to Jonathan Sutherland, Penn State safety, critical of his hair and his wardrobe, and kind of said he wishes we could go back to a time where maybe people didn't wear their hair like that.
Right.
Anyway, James Franklin opens with a prepared statement. He was pretty emotional, talking about just how much he enjoys his program, his players, how much he enjoys Jonathan Sutherland, and the players talked about it too, Greg. They're rallying around Jonathan, and it feels like maybe this team's gonna get even closer as a result of this interaction.
Agreed. They think it was already a pretty close team. Yeah, James Franklin obviously put a lot of thought into his statement. You can read the whole thing over at Penn Live. You can see the video as well. We have full video of what he had to say. And more or less, he just focused on the fact that he believes Jonathan Sutherland and what these guys are as a brotherhood, as a family, is what college football all is about, is what Penn State's "We Are" slogan is all about. And yeah, you could tell it really bothered him, and with good reason.
Sure.
I mean, no doubt. So yeah, this is something I think that we probably haven't heard the last of, but I think it's the last that James Franklin and his players are going to address it. But it's certainly something that, you know, Micah Parsons and Will Fry spoke and seemed pretty clear about the fact that this was something that they're not just rallying around Jonathan Sutherland, but the team as a whole is coming closer because of it.
Sure. Huge week for Penn State. They're 5-0. I think they're ranked number 10 in the country now, coming off a big defensive effort against Purdue. Now they got to go to Kinnick Stadium, Iowa City, the pink locker rooms, all of it. Iowa's got a history of playing very tough against good teams in night games at that place. Penn State escaped barely 2 years ago in a similar environment on the last play, a Trace McSorley to Juwan Johnson touchdown. But it just sounds like Penn State's excited and embracing this challenge, and it really should be a physical war at scrimmage, the way that these teams match up.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think this team has more of a fun vibe to it.
Yeah.
And not that Trace McSorley and Saquon Barkley and those teams didn't have fun, but these guys just have a little bit more of a confident and fun vibe to them. And they know that this is going to be no walkover. Iowa wasn't great against Michigan. That doesn't mean it won't be great this week. It's still a top 20 team in the country. It has a very good defense led by the defensive ends, I think, that are very good. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but
AJ Epinesa.
There you go. So yeah, you know, very good group. They have Geno Stone, the Pennsylvania kid.
He had a pick six last year.
Yeah, it clearly bugs James Franklin that he got away from the Keystone State. But yeah, this is a challenge. I mean, I think the game plan's pretty straightforward. You go out, you make Nate Stanley try and beat you, and you assume that he probably won't be able to. But they have to score points too.
Yeah.
And if they can jump on Iowa quickly, we'll talk more about it on the Blitz this week, Bob. But if they can jump out quickly, I think that's a big key to success.
A couple things. Just an announcement for the Penn State football fans. The HBO show about Penn State's prep week for Purdue and the coverage of game day. It's Wednesday night. I think it's at 10 o'clock, I believe, on HBO. We might have said Thursday. Maybe I said Thursday. But anyway, we just want to make sure it's Wednesday night. You guys don't want to miss it. I think the players are looking forward to seeing it. And we'll just see how that turns out. That's Wednesday. So that's in it's like 30 hours from now, something
roughly,
like that.
Give or take,
and also, I just want to make sure you were paying attention closely during Micah Parsons' news conference. I have one question for you. What is Micah Parsons' phobia? What freaks him out the most?
Bugs. Yes, bugs, he said.
He is terrified of bugs.
Aren't we all?
He was asked about the pink locker room and what he would do if he had a chance to build a locker room to kind of get an incoming team scared. He said, man, he doesn't like to mess around with bugs.
Who does?
He's pretty much a terrifying defensive player, and not a lot scares Micah Parsons, but if you get him around some bugs, you never know what might happen. One more thing, Greg, you mentioned AJ Epinesa. Just watch, the fans need to watch. He's going to be going against Rasheed Walker in this game. Rasheed Walker's playing very well in his first year, but he really hasn't seen anyone quite like the Epinesa kid. I think it's one of the great individual battles to watch Saturday night.
Yeah, I think that if Penn State, again, is going to have the success we saw it have against Purdue, against Maryland, against Buffalo in the second half, and of course the whole game for Idaho, it starts with the protection up front and making sure that not only Sean Clifford has time to make the right reads, but that this running game can get going as well, regardless of whether they have 4 guys in the game, if they slim the rotation down to 2, whatever they decide to do. So yeah, that's a fascinating matchup to watch.